This is Ian Littleton, and he's a free-range egg farmer in Windsor. Ian is part of the Free Range Farmers Association, and he is proud to be well within the animal welfare standards of 1,500 birds per hectare.
This area here, we're running hens on about 20 hectares of land. Of the 20, 15 are used for the poultry, and we're running about 10,000 laying birds, so we've got a stocking rate of about 750 birds per hectare.
However, his pioneering work could be under threat. The Australian Egg Corporation is proposing to increase these standards to 20,000 birds per hectare. This is over 13 times the current limit.
We just really feel as though ASL is just capitalising on the market, on the pioneering market work that smaller farmers have done.
David Williamson runs a free-range and barn-laid egg farm on the Central Coast. His stock rates are over 1,500 birds per hectare, but he believes that AECL's proposal will mislead consumers.
Well, 20,000 per hectare is a lot of birds per hectare, and they're not going to comply with the photograph on the front of the carton which says birds sitting in green grass. That won't happen for very long because they'll eliminate all the grass with that density of birds. But they will have access to scratch and to be outside and get in the mud if it's raining and in the sunshine.
Jamie Parker of the New South Wales Greens Party is fighting to pass a truth in labelling bill. This will limit the free-range egg densities to 1,500 birds per hectare.
The bill is, as it's described, will be providing for truth in labelling. At the moment, there's real concerns that products that are labelled free-range when it comes to eggs are in fact not free-range.
Currently, there are no laws limiting the amount of birds kept per hectare. The Australian Egg Corporation believe a third of free-range egg producers are currently holding densities of over 20,000 birds per hectare.
We were quite surprised, we were quite surprised by 20,000 bird per hectare figure. Even more surprised to hear that they make a statement that they have farms of higher concentrations than that.
The Egg Corporation said they don't condone these densities, but they've awarded accreditation to Eco Eggs. This is a brand that holds a maximum of 40,000 birds per hectare. Here is their live chook cam. But what they don't show is their maximum density of 105,000 at night. That's 70 times the welfare limits. Eco Eggs declined an interview.
20,000 laying hens per hectare is like one hen basically a bit bigger than an A4 page. It's a very small amount of space. It doesn't allow hens to engage in normal activities, which a free-range hen will be able to, which is to wander around, go in a dust bath, feel comfortable in surroundings. And that's one of the reasons why hens, when they're very intensely packed at say 20,000 hens per hectare, have to be de-beaked, or as they call it, their beaks modified, because they can't engage in natural behaviour and they peck other birds.
The Model Code of Practice for Animal Welfare specifies beak trimming should be a last resort, but many free-range farms find it's necessary practice, including Eco Eggs and David Williamson's farm.
We have our birds, the beak trim, we get them at 16 weeks of age and they're beak trimmed before we get them. And that's because it's to protect them during their growing period as chickens and as young birds, and also to help protect them when they're older and laying. Chooks are very cannibalistic, especially in a bright situation. In a darkened situation, they're not as cannibalistic, but in bright conditions they are very, and you can certainly lose birds through pecking very quickly.
If you look at these birds, they're not beak trimmed, and that's something I wouldn't do with my birds. I have found as I got more involved and I've become more concerned about issues of animal welfare like that, so I'm quite proud of the fact that these birds have all got their full feather coat and are beak trimmed. I couldn't certainly become involved in cage production again.
David Williamson believes animal welfare is about good management, not space.
Management of your birds is most critical in any sort of housing. Good managers in cages will look after their birds and see their welfare is very good, just as a good manager will in free range. But bad managers in either system are not good for the birds. Birds are most protected when they're on their own. They're not picked upon by anyone else. So I sometimes often think that a cage system that has single bird cages is possibly the most welfare friendly thing for a bird.
The Australian Egg Corporation believe there is no economic, scientific or consumer research justifying a limit of 1,500 birds per hectare. They believe a new limit must be implemented to keep up with the demand for free-range eggs. But Jamie Parker says the Greens will continue to fight for smaller densities.
Buying a free-range egg with 20,000 hens per hectare is not free-range, and we will continue to fight that to make sure that the industrial egg producers don't get their way and that in fact consumers and animal welfare is prioritised.